Hi, I'm Sarah, and I chose to do case study A for this assignment. This was the one about the interpreter who is of faith and going into a couples therapy meeting and feeling like they could benefit from having God in their lives and choosing whether or not to talk to them in the parking lot afterwards. And I chose this particular case study because I can see myself in that sort of position because I am an interpreter and I am also a person of faith. So I can see myself wanting to spread that good news to the couple, but then being conflicted because it's not part of my role. So that's why I chose this one. So first, identify the conflict. I believe it's a conflict of values because I value professionalism in my work, but I also value my faith and my religious beliefs. And so it would just be conflicting for me because in my faith, my priority in life on this earth is to serve God. Excuse my cat, sorry. My priority is to serve God, but I still have to be professional, and part of serving God, and it talks in the Bible about like obeying the authority here on earth, and part of that is not expressing my opinion. So that's why I would be conflicted, and also just that I have the good news of God, but I'm not a counselor, like I'm not a professional counselor, and I don't know this couple's story. So yeah, that's kind of back and forth for me. So what I would do is I would not talk to them in the parking lot, unfortunately. I just don't think that it's the best decision, but I would have to, I guess during the interpreting process, or if there's a break, have to process that bias and understand that I do have that bias, so then it doesn't affect my interpretation while I'm interpreting for the counselor, or vice versa. And then, as a person of faith, I would probably pray for the couple because I've seen them and I have known their names, and I don't think confidentiality counts when you're talking to Jesus about it. So, and the Code of Professional Conduct. There's quite a few sections that I felt like support this decision. For example, 2.3, 10 to 2.3 talks about rendering the message faithfully, and that's including not being biased, which I would be if I don't take the time to step back and realize this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling, and I need to put that aside so I can interpret this message. And then 2.5 states you should refrain from providing counsel. That's pretty much as clear as it gets. That's not our role as the interpreter to provide counsel and provide something that we think they should have, because that's the counselor's job. And 3.2 talks about, this one's not directly related, but 3.2 talks about declining the assignment if you're not fit for it, and that's not something I could probably do at the moment, but it's something for the future if I really feel like couples therapy, if it's not a Christian counselor, maybe if I would feel like they need God consistently, then maybe I don't go to these assignments because I know I'm going to be biased about them. That's just something to consider. And then number 4 talks about respect for the consumer, and it doesn't have a specific tenet about the hearing person, but I feel like if I were to go up and talk to the couple after the therapy, that it would kind of undermine the counselor who they're going to for therapy, just because they have a degree, they've gone to school for this, and they're trying to help this couple. Meanwhile, I think I have a better answer. And I just think that's disrespectful. So, yeah. And then, interesting fact, the Bible supports this also, I guess, just in respecting the authority that is put in place, like I said before, and then there's a specific verse about sharing the gospel and when necessary use words. So it's more about being the kind of like showing instead of talking about it. So there's that, and then just that there's a process and everything, and maybe God has a person in the future that's going to talk to this couple, and etc. So I just wanted to kind of show that, for me at least, both sides kind of support this decision. Both sides of my conflict support the decision, which makes me feel a lot better about it, or would make me feel a lot better if it actually happened. And then the implications, there's, a couple things that could happen. Obviously, if you did decide to talk to the couple, that might seem pushy, and they'd be like, who are you and why do you think that you can solve my problems? So if you don't end up talking to them, running after them in the parking lot afterwards, then you don't come off pushy, and you don't have this issue of, oh, well, I don't want to hire that interpreter again, or I don't want to work with that interpreter again because she thinks she knows everything. And also, the counselor, they wouldn't know that this had or hadn't happened, or that it was going on in my mind, but if I had gone up and talked to the deaf couple, and the counselor found out about it, then they would not respect me, probably, and probably not want to work with me again. And so if I don't talk to the couple, then I don't have that issue either. Unfortunately, another implication is that this deaf couple may not come to know God, which is unfortunate for me, because that's just something that I would strive for, is for everyone to come to know God. But it is an implication of the choice I made. And you know what? That could happen if I talk to them too. They might just be like, well, get away from me, I hate Christians now. So that could happen either way. But that's an implication, is they may not hear the message. And they might not resolve their issues. If it was true that they did need God and that God would help them, then if I don't share that, then they might not resolve their issues because they don't have God to help them through that, kind of. So those are the implications that I came up with. And yeah, that's kind of the whole scenario for me. I think this was a good one because it really is, like I said, something I can see happening to me, and kind of has in small ways, not to this extent, and I've never made the more liberal choice, I don't think. But yeah, that's my case study.